Here we go, here we go, here we go. It's June 2nd. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. We're rocking and rolling. I'm back out in Tosa again this morning. So we're gonna get this thing moving, grooving, and it is a gorgeous day to be alive. So let's get going. Today's a little bit of kind of my theme for today. I don't know why I've been rather reflective lately. Um, my theme for you today is story time. I have two stories I'm going to share with you today that I actually think are very appropriate and relatable to your business. And there's a lot of commonality from a theme perspective of some things that we've been talking about. We also have some exciting, I think it's rather exciting. It could be rather boring processing and efficiency updates. It's funny how the smallest things will make a lot of people really happy. And I have one data point for you on an article that I read recently relative to the demand associated to the migration patterns in the state of Wisconsin that I'm going to share with you. And I will go deeper into the data as it relates to what we are seeing now that May is complete. And I'll help you understand the May numbers next week. Sound good? All right, so here we go. Mission, vision, value, beliefs, and perspectives. One of the things I wanted to highlight um, is I wanted to say thank you to the 200 people who participated in volunteering in Red Day. One of the things that we really believe from a mission-based as an organization and how we align ourselves within the community is how do we enrich the communities that we serve? And to have 200 people show up for Red Day and participate, whether you participated in Souls for Jesus or out at Camp Whitcomb Mason for Boys and Girls Club, just wanted to highlight that because I really truly believe it's like one of the best days of the year. I get so much energy from being around everyone and participating in that, and so wanted to highlight that as we started this morning. As we started this morning. So on behalf of myself and the leadership team, and really big shout out to Bella and Wooten for helping us pull that together. People don't realize how hard it is to find organizations that are willing to have 200 people show up. Amazing. Most people are like, "Oh, you want to volunteer? Sure, we'll take 5 or 6 people." And I'm like, "How about 50 or 60?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can't do that." Um, but it's amazing when 200 people come together. It's a great day. And I use it as a reminder more so of like, don't just use it one day. When you're in those moments and you need to build yourself up, go participate in Habitat for Humanity or go pack food at the food bank or do whatever it is because it's amazing how you feel when you leave. Um, with that, I wanted to share with you a little bit of a story as a follow-up to the last team meeting we had, where I shared the insights from the presentation that I was fortunate to attend from Tom DeLong from Harvard Business School, and he talked about gratitude in action. Um, and the reason I'm going to share with you a little bit of a quick story to it is I think it really highlights a lot of what Tom's message was in the act of gratitude and how it's not so much of it as a buzzword as it is a leadership practice in the way we live our lives and how we serve people and how we see people, how we value people, how we recognize the impact we have on others when it comes in the smallest of moments because leadership is not in the other people's experiences of you. It's their experience of themselves in your presence. And so I had shared with you guys 2 weeks ago kind of the cliff notes of the presentation around the science of the act of gratitude and how do we recognize people, lift them up, and remember that sometimes the most important thing we can do is simply show up for someone in their moment of need. So I don't have a slide on this per se, but I'm going to share with you a story. Okay. Over the weekend, my 9-year-old who plays on a community little travel baseball team, we had a tournament up in Mauston, Wisconsin, which Mauston is like 30 minutes north of the Dells. You drive through pine tree forests to get to 8 baseball fields literally in the middle of nowhere. And for those of you who have kids who have baseball, there's a lot of sitting around. Okay. And I'm sitting next to a friend of mine in the community, and he's telling us about this story where on the Little League team, the travel team is different than the Little League team. And on the Little League team, he had 12 kids. And after the draft, he got an email from someone and basically said, you're going to add a 13th player. And in Little League, just so you know, from a competitive dynamic standpoint, you want fewer players, not more players, because you have less players that you have to get through the batting order. So to go to 13 players, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So he gets the 13th player, and the 13th player's dad sends him an email. And the dad's email says, hey, so and so, you and I don't know each other. My son is, let's just call him Jimmy. Jimmy is going to be the joining your team as a 13th player. Thank you for allowing him to do that. Do you happen to be, let's just call him John? And is your brother Michael? And he hits him back with an email and says, yes. And my friend, whose son was the 13th player, says, I want to tell you something. I was on your dad's 1992 Tosa Little League team. Okay. I was the worst player on the team, but we won the championship. And I still remember it to this day how impactful it was when your dad was our coach. And my friend, interestingly enough, I know both of these people, but they don't know each other. Okay. And my friend, who is the coach of the Little League team, said how much that meant to him because to fast forward a little bit about the story that the other gentleman kind of knew but didn't know is the dad who coached the Little League team in 1992 passed away when my friend was 10. And so my friend who coached the Little League team basically was saying how much that small moment in time of the 13th player's dad reaching out and saying how much that meant to him of winning the Little League championship in Tosa in 1992. By the way, at the Applebee's on Mayfair Road, their picture is still up on a picture frame. And they go over there and view it often because for my other friend who is the coach, it's a great reminder of the memories he had with his dad because he passed away at 10. So the reason I share the story is that moment would have never happened had someone not taken a moment, a small moment that let's just call him friend A recognizing my friend B, but they don't know each other. And he sent a really what he thought was a meaningless email to say, I was on your dad's Little League team. This is amazing. The amount of impact it had for the other person because of what transpired after that was profound. And he went on and on about the story of receiving that email and how big of an impact it had. My point to the story is this. There are small moments in time where you don't know or recognize the ripple or the impact that you can have on others. And you have an obligation to share that. And so fast forward to yesterday. I woke up, I was kind of having this moment. I'm thinking to myself, I should probably share it with my other friend who sent the email. I don't know about the impact that he made on this person. So Monday morning, I was getting to the office at like 7:50, and I was like, you know what? The first 10 minutes of my day, I'm going to share this with him. So we share it with him. I said, hey, again, let's just call him Mike. Mike, you sent this note to John. I wanted you to know how big of an impact that made and the emotions and memories that came back. It was really profound. Thank you for sharing that. And I wanted you to know that like more of that should be shared in the world. That is really amazing. And I don't think you understand the gravity or the impact that that story had. And here was the kicker of the story. He said, I did it for myself. I said, well, why'd you do that? He goes, because my brother just passed away in his 40s. And so he said, I had thought about this other gentleman who's now his son's baseball coach because I'm grappling with how do I help my nephews who lost their dad. And I thought by maybe sharing the story of the Little League team, it might all help us move forward in life. Moral of the story is, when you have something you want to share, share it. It is amazing the impact it can have on other people. It's amazing. So my encouragement to you as a follow-up to the Tom DeLonge presentation that I shared with you is, you never know when gratitude's going to show up. You never know. And the small moments when you think you're going out of your way to send a text or send an email or make the phone call that you should be making, do it. It can be transformational for both the person you share it with and for those that is doing the act. And it's a small moment of time, and I think we often overlook and allow time to pass. And the ripple of that impact can be incredible. And so I share that with you to encourage you as a follow-up to last week's presentation around Tom's act of kindness and act of gratitude. Like, be that person for somebody else in the world. It's amazing the ripple impact. So I'm sitting in Mauston, Wisconsin. We might or might not have had a few beers deep. And I'm thinking to myself, what an amazing connectivity of all these people and how the world can come together. And there is positive people in this world, and you can make an impact. So as a follow-up to the presentation, I thought I'd share it with you this morning. Cool? All right, story number 1 on the day. With that, I'm flipping it over to Vranek. Vranek, what do these guys needs to know as it relates to tech and marketing updates coming down the pike?
Charlie, I think we're all really proud of you for not crying during that segment. Bravo. Such growth. Here's Lindsey.
So there's a little trick. You just squeeze your butt cheeks. It works.
Yeah, how do I follow that? Gosh.
Yeah, Linz,
Okay.
you're up.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I got a little bit of a mixed bag of updates for you guys today. So a couple of those are relating to Command. So a couple of emails were sent out about a month ago, and so I just wanted to address those. The first one is in regards to the Designs applet in Command. So if anyone has used the Designs applet to create print materials such as listing or buyer guides, social media posts, that applet is actually being, it's going away. And that is in an effort to really streamline and consolidate some of the systems and processes and pieces to that platform. So I just want to specify too that it's just the print and social designs that are going away. Email designs is not going anywhere. That is going to get consolidated into kind of a different area within Command. So designs is going away as of June 10th. So coming up pretty soon in the next week or so. So if you see some changes in there, that is why, that is what's going on. But again, I know a lot of us use emails in Command, and that is not going anywhere. I just want to reiterate that. And because, a lot of us are using KW Canva now, there wasn't really a need for those print and social assets within designs anymore. So that's all available in Canva. So if you have any assets that are currently in designs, whether it's print or social, you'll want to export those and download them. And then you can upload them into your KW Canva accounts. So again, Keller Williams, they're just strategically simplifying Command and just preparing for future improvements that will make creating your marketing and other materials easier and faster. So again, just if you have anything that is in there that you are still using, make sure to download those and then you can import them into Canva. The other email that was sent out is in regards to increased security. So Keller Williams always has your best interest at heart and wants to protect your accounts and your information. So they added some additional security measures back in May. And a couple of those is just in regards to some more sensitive information. So if you are, let's say, importing or exporting contacts, you might see a screen similar to what you see on the slide where it says verify your account to continue. So when you're making those changes to information in your account that is considered sensitive, you may be asked to authenticate your identity with a one-time code that will be sent to your recovery email that's on file. So similar to logging in, you'll just go to your recovery email and grab that code to continue. So that code will authenticate your identity and it'll allow you to continue making those changes to your account. So just wanted to address that. That is intended functionality. And also wanted to note, if you ever need to update that password recovery email, you can do so within your Command account by going to your profile, account access, and then login credentials. You'll see what email address is on file as your recovery email, and then you can edit that as well. All right, so those were a couple of Command updates. Marketing update, we have our new Community Pulse magazine. So as mentioned, we are updating this on a quarterly basis this year. So we have all updated statistics for the 6 counties. And that data is reflecting the rolling 12 months. So we're comparing April 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026. Compared to that previous 12 months of April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025. So they're completely updated quarterly. So you've got the most updated information to present to clients, consumers. And then we also have updated and new community insights. So seasonal favorites, local hidden gems, and a lot of this is what you guys shared with us. So we wanted your feedback on this. On what your favorite things to do, places to visit within those 6 counties. And then we also have our vendor spotlights. So Cream City and Focus are highlighted in this edition as well. So these are now out in the offices. So to come take a look. We have the digital links that you can always share through the KW MKE app, as well as the Agent Hub. So those links are updated as well that you can share at any time. All right. Really exciting update here for the printers within the offices. So wanted to address that. Uniflow is coming to a printer near you. So a couple of features of this is on the next slide. Really exciting stuff. So you're going to be able to print to any machine. So you can send it once and release at whichever printer is closest. So no more guessing which queue to use. Any device, anytime. So iOS and Android apps let you send a job from your phone or tablet before you even walk into the office. Secure pull printing. Documents don't print until you release them. So contracts and sensitive files stay off the tray. Increased security, so no more department IDs or personal data as printer codes. So every agent gets an auto-generated PIN. It's private and unique and yours. And you can set it and forget it. So once configured, it just runs. So in the background, while you focus on other things. So soft launch, I believe, is next week, but there is a video that kind of walks through this as well.
Every day in your office, people print all kinds of documents, including documents with sensitive information. When these are not picked up immediately, they can get mixed in with other prints in the receiving tray, so they are vulnerable to data breaches if read by someone else. Uniflow Online empowers everyone in your office to print securely. Once sent, print jobs are stored in the user's personal print queue. There, they remain safe and secure until the user arrives at the printer and identifies themselves. Users can choose their finishing options to get documents printed the way they want them. Only selected jobs are printed, which saves costs and minimizes the risk of data breaches.
So exciting things coming to all of our offices very soon. So stay tuned for more details there. All right, finally, you guys, we have our final matchup of Battle of the Vibes. So just want to take a second to thank everyone who participated. You guys put yourself out there and created some really great videos. So love to see all of that and your creativity. So thank you for everyone who participated. But the final matchup is between Mary Beth Milkey and the Rutino Kuiper real estate team. So congrats, you guys. Those videos will be posted today. Voting will last 24 hours. So check out our KW Realty MKE Instagram, our stories, they'll be live, and a poll will be available for you to vote for your favorite. And then the winner will be announced on Friday. And it's really exciting because they get an hour with a videographer and they get to create even more content to use for their socials. So thank you for everyone who participated, and stay tuned for those matchups today.
Sweet.
And that's it.
Linz, I could not be more excited for Uniflow. The most exciting, unexciting announcement of all time. But the other key to it, which we've heard you often, is, hey, I want to print from my phone. I only have my phone. I want to print from my iPad. I only have my iPad, whatever it might be. Also, the document processing from a security standpoint, and also minimizing the 72-page contract you printed and then forgot about that sits on the tray, and then all of a sudden we recycle it, but unfortunately you get billed the 2.5 cents for the 72 pages. Like, all of that will be minimized to create efficiencies, operational efficiencies, security, so on and so forth. All right, with that, staying on the concept of security, the compliance team has an update for you as it relates to the condition report. So, squad, what do we got?
All right, good morning. Mine's pretty quick this morning, but it's really important. It's something that I would say we probably run across at least 50% of the time. Is dating the front page of the condition report. That is often left blank, and that can be a big deal in that if it is not filled in, it can be considered incomplete by a buyer. Therefore, the buyer could argue that they have rescission rights. So if that's not automatically, if you're using Authentisign, it's not one of the automatic fields. You either need to pull a field in or you need to like handwrite one in. Because if that is not filled in, again, the buyer may argue they have rescission rights. Next slide. So according to this Wisconsin statute, the owner needs to give them a complete report within 10 days after acceptance. Otherwise, the buyer has 2 days to rescind it. So even if they've gotten it and signed off on it and it's not filled in, they still have those 2 business days to rescind. So just a really important step to take. Make sure that's done on all of your condition reports. And again, here's the helpline. So save the number in your phone and call or text anytime.
Sweet. The Admiral is with us this morning with an important update. Make sure your real estate condition reports are dated. And I'll tell you, the hotline's been hot lately, like simmering hot. So want to thank Ashley, Lisa, Steph, Sarah, and Eileen for manning the hot hotline. And here to serve you guys. All right, I'm going to take us to the finish. Woot is out today, so I got the education events updates for the group. Let's jump right in. MREA podcast, I think some of the best content that KW puts out. This week's drop, which was yesterday, was the psychology of content that attracts clients with Jess. Feel free to check that out and listen to it while you're traveling in between appointments or in the car. Again, great content. And we have a little bit more for you.
Hey everybody, you're here, you're in the lab with the pen and a pad, and I have my thinking glasses on because I'm getting older and I can't see anything. And the good news, I am almost there. This is the cover page. Now granted, it's the only page that's done, but I promise it all begins with that. Your best life powered by your best business, brought to you by Jason Abrams. I'm excited. I've taken the best from the AI models, the best from the MREA, the best from all the science and studies that we have, and some new models that you all haven't even seen yet, and I am coming your way. Together, we are going to spend 3 hours delving into all things lead generation, all things your best life, all things follow-up, and most importantly, all things you. Because here's the deal. In the end, all of us are building businesses for one reason, to help us live our best life. So is there a secret on how to live your best life? Gary Keller says yes. I know what it is. The only thing missing is you.
So Jason's coming to us June 23rd downtown at the Hilton Hotel. We actually already have 130 or 40 registrations as it is. We have capacity up to 400. So feel free to invite friends too, other people in the industry. We want this to be something where we lift the industry up in southeastern Wisconsin. Has really, quite frankly, nothing to do with KW, all about productivity and helping you create elevation, not only in your life, but in your business. So it's at the Hilton Hotel downtown, plenty of parking. We moved it to a venue that was large enough and comfortable enough to be able to host Jason. And we're incredibly grateful. I will be honest with you. It is not always easy to get people to come to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, despite what people think. The month of June, July, and August, it's seemingly a lot easier to get people to come to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So Jason will be joining us on June 23rd. Make sure that you register. And again, feel free to bring those in the industry because we want to, rising tides lifts all ships. With that, in the North Shore this afternoon, there is a Lunch and Learn. A great partner of ours, Coakley Brothers. ALC had an opportunity to go down to Coakley 2 weeks ago for a mastermind, a great space, a way to see tangibly the level of service and the level of quality that they believe in. They will be in the North Shore after team meeting this morning for a Lunch and Learn with my man, Michael. Take note, the next luxury training calendar call, Conversations That Close, How Luxury Agents Turn Relationships into Revenue, is June 3rd via Zoom at 10 a.m. Condos A to Z, a lot of questions and a lot of landmines to navigate as it relates to condos. It will be in the North Shore on June 9th at 11 a.m. with a plus. And then Stop Marketing Like Every Other Agent. This is with Patrick Ferry. I don't know if you guys know this, but from the Tom Ferry coaching tree, Patrick is Tom's son, has joined KW as an advisor and will be teaching a course hosted by our group on Thursday, the 11th at 2 p.m. via Zoom. Registration is free, so make sure you check that out. Forthcoming Deal Defense in the month of June with Admiral Ashley and Lieutenant Steph. You can see the topics that will be forthcoming on Mondays for you to check out, and the forthcoming PC coaches programs in the month of June that we will be running throughout the rest of the year. Lastly, for those in PC, reminder that your 90-day passport to success as it relates to your integration of PCX is going on right now. Started May 1st, which means you're roughly 32 days in to the program. Time to get your check-in at each of your locations. Again, the idea behind it is structured accountability to the blueprint to your success. So make sure that you check in your location to get your passport stamped. Ignite will be forthcoming back on July 13th. We'll be running it at KW Southwest. Again, an incredible class, whether you're in productivity or trying to elevate your level of productivity. And or if you're brand new to the course, more to come on Ignite, but save the date. We are kicking it off on July 13th. Lastly, from a big picture standpoint, Mega Camp is coming back. Save the date, August 17th to the 20th in San Antonio. Note the Austin Convention Center is still under construction, which is why it's in San Antonio, Texas. And yesterday they made a large announcement. The keynote speaker is one of my all-time favorites, who I still listen to, who helps me shape the way I think about the world. Simon Sinek will be the keynote speaker at Mega Camp down in Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, August 17th to the 20th. More news to come on Mega Camp. Sound good? All right. I'm going to wrap it up with two things for you. One, I have some market insights, and two, I'm going to go into a different story. It won't make you cry. It'll make you hopefully think. Okay. Here's my market insight for you. I read an article recently around the state of the Wisconsin housing industry, and it came from an outside source. Outside meaning outside of the state of Wisconsin, outside our company. It was more so of why and what the hell is going on in Wisconsin? Because if you didn't know this, here's a fun little fact. Wisconsin right now has the second highest appreciation so far in 2026 of all 50 states across the U.S. It's appreciating at roughly 5.2%. One sec. Perfect. We took care of that. Never mind. I was going to make a joke, but it wasn't appropriate. See, that's growth too. All right. So where are we going back to and what was I going to say? Here was the headline to the content that I read. Wisconsin's housing market is booming right now, but why? Home values are up 5.3%, second highest in the U.S. The important piece to know, which I've kind of talked about in the April recap a few weeks ago in May, was this concept that buyers are being pickier, yet the market is not less competitive. Okay? Buyers are being pickier, but when they go in, it's highly competitive. We have felt that, but I didn't have a finger as to why we felt that. Now I understand why. We have to look at migration patterns. I thought this to be a fascinating, fascinating slide. Look at this. This is domestic migration across the state of Wisconsin. Okay. From 2005 to 2021, the state of Wisconsin lost people every single year. Yet, if you look at 2021 to 2022, you see a trend line that skyrockets. Okay. We saw some of the highest migration rates back to the state of Wisconsin that we had seen in decades. Okay. The question will be, will the trend continue? So we have to pay attention to drivers of migration, which is jobs, wages, accessibility, and affordability, and something to pay attention to, not to get political, but educational environment. Educational environments do matter. We are in a gubernatorial race without an incumbent. This fall, it'll be a very interesting race. Again, I remain apolitical on those sorts of things, but it does impact our industry. We cannot not pay attention, if that makes sense. Okay. And so I share with you this data, by the way. Every presentation we ever give is uploaded to kwrealtymke.com. You can download it immediately after to include this in presentations if you so wish. It's also available via the app as well. But I thought this was a fascinating data point for you to be thinking about when people are asking you what's going on and what's driving it. If you just look from 2022 to 2026, that's what's driven the appreciation despite rates skyrocketing, inventory remaining relatively low. It's because of migration and populace and some of the things that are going on within the region as to what's driving people to our region where we live, work, and play. Make sense? My only data point for you today. Next week, I will go much deeper in depth as it relates to what we saw coming out of May to give you a better forecast as to what we might see in the back half of the year. Sound good? Cool. All right. Last story of the day. I read a piece of content recently around our industry as it relates to relationships and brand equity. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, kind of like the story I shared with you that I had over beers in Boston. Hit me like a ton of bricks. I think to myself, how does this relate to what can I learn from this experience? Okay. And I thought to myself, it was worthy of enough content that I needed to share with you. Okay. Because your opportunity at your income and your equity related to your brand is directly correlated to your reputation. Directly. Okay. And so I'm going to share with you a story about a real estate developer. Okay. And his name is Trammell Crow. I pulled this kind of infographic for you from the content to help you understand a flow chart, and I'll explain it here at the end. There's a lot going on, but I broke it down for you in a slide-based format to help you understand the context to the story. Okay, here's the context. One of the most influential and legendary American real estate developers ever in American history. His name is Trammell Crow. In 1971, Forbes named him the largest private real estate operator and landlord in the United States. He was famous for his business philosophy and the way he ran his business. There were two major elements to the way he ran his business. One, he believed in a partnership model where he operated a decentralized network of partnerships versus a rigid corporate hierarchy. He treated people as partners, not as employees, sharing immense rewards with others. Sharing immense rewards with others kind of goes back to the concept that I shared with you earlier. Rising tides lifts all ships. In the 1970s, he was asked to speak at Harvard Business School, and they famously asked him what was the single characteristic to his success. And his answer, love. His quote was this: "If you genuinely care about people and treat them with goodwill, success will naturally follow." One sec. There. If you genuinely care about people and treat them with goodwill, success will naturally follow. Yet there was a crisis that occurred in the mid 1970s that sounds incredibly relatable to what we've recently experienced. In the mid 1970s, the American economy was slammed hard by brutal conditions. There was stagflation, there was an energy crisis, and there were skyrocketing interest rates. Interesting. The booming real estate market came to a screeching halt. They being Trammell Crow and his businesses, continued to borrow heavily and build aggressively right up until the real estate crash of the 1970s. The firm suddenly found itself dangerously over-leveraged. Cash flow turned deeply negative. Debt stacked up. Banks held the keys to his properties. Bankruptcy was immediate and a terrifying reality. He made a bold move. Instead of avoiding his lenders or hiding from his partners, Crow called all of his partners together for a partner meeting because his partners legally owned the individual real estate assets. And they held the key to the solution. The ask? He laid out the grim truth and made an unprecedented, astonishing ask. Sell half of our assets, loan me all of the money to pay back the bank. He asked his partners to liquidate their personal holdings and hand 100% of that capital over to him to bail out the parent organization. Any ordinary business relationship, this would have been turned into massive lawsuits and people throwing a fit. Okay? How has Crow's reputation saved the business? Because Crow had spent decades building authentic relationships, empowering people, and pouring equity into his reputation long before he ever needed a rescue. The response from his partners was nearly unanimous. Everyone liquidated their assets, handed him his capital in order to create a bailout for the banks, all but one partner. They were willing to liquidate their portfolios to protect him. This massive injection of relational liquidity allowed Crow to avoid bankruptcy, keep the company intact, deepen an unbreakable bond of trust with his network, and restructure and rebound, eventually growing the company's assets to an astonishing $13 billion by the mid-1980s, effectively 10 years later. Okay? The lesson in it is this. The relationships you build now, you don't know how it's going to show up for you in liquidity terms later. If you think about it as it relates to our industry and our business, and I've shared this with you with the advent of everything that's going on in AI and everything else, there are a lot of things that are going to make your job easier. Your value creation in the future is going to be your relationships and your EQ. How do you read people? How do you treat people? How do you handle people? That's your value creation. Okay? Because your value creation also comes from your ability to help people sense what it is that they are buying. See it, feel it, touch it, taste it, smell it, and create certainty as it relates to security. Okay? And this flow chart just basically helps you understand what happened and where it all went. I just thought it was a little overly wordy and thought I would break it down for you in the way that I did. Here was the lessons I want you to take away from it. 3 lessons. Your future profitability isn't just dictated by the current interest rates or the local housing inventory. It's tied entirely to the trust we build today. 2, if the market turns tomorrow, my question to you is, have you built a deep enough reservoir of trust, integrity, and value with your clients, colleagues, and network that they would step up to back you up? And I'm going to repeat something. Clients, yes. But I also challenge you as it relates to your colleagues. I know this to be true. This might be a spicy take. When you have option A and option B as it relates to a listing agent and you look at the other side as who you're working with, I know that you're going to consider who it is that's on the other side as it relates to equal, apples to apples comparison, who you want to work with. Your colleagues and the network you build in terms of the reservoir of trust can create liquidity as it relates to your deal flow. And I think oftentimes in a competitive market, especially like we're working in right now, it's the first thing people lose sight of. 3, profit is created in how we treat people when we don't need a deal. Profit is created in how we treat people when we don't need a deal. Build your reputation today because it will be your ultimate liquidity tomorrow. So in the height of the spring market when things are highly competitive, I thought it was a good time. Someone shared this article with me. I sat there and thought to myself, holy shit, it sounds like we're in the exact same situation. Energy crisis, stagflation, and oh, by the way, skyrocketing interest rates. All of it creates stagnant deal flow. By the way, across the US right now, the industry as a whole is stagnant. It's not necessarily growing. We need to pay attention to those signs as it relates to how we're investing in our reputation, because your reputation is your brand equity, and your brand equity is what will create your liquidity as it relates to how you create your income. Sound good? Beautiful. With that, that's what I got for you today. Next week, I'll take a deep dive into May's market numbers to help you identify what happened in the first 5 months of the year. What can we expect from the back half of the year? Where are we? And yeah, we'll go from there. Sound good? Cool. 2 stories for you today I thought were incredibly relevant. I'm incredibly excited about Uniflow. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee, guys. Thanks for showing up.